Fire isn't just an element. Fire is an organism.
We're actually only at 1 minute, so I want to talk spoilers now. So
okay.
we'll wrap with the spoiler question. The big twist in this series is obviously that Dave is an arsonist. Setting up that twist, Dennis always says that he wants his twists to feel earned. He wants them to be subtle. He wants the show to reveal itself. How did you approach this series knowing that that was coming and wanting to emphasize those nuances that set up the big twist early on?
Well, I guess, the thing that I really liked is that twist about him being the arsonist is kind of only really the first of a series of twists. And I love that Dennis, you started another question where you mentioned, Dennis not wanting the characters to be put in boxes. And I think that's what really defines the show. None of the characters are totally good or totally bad. They're all very complex, all very challenging, I think. How did I approach, playing Dave in terms of, I guess you're asking, how did I approach playing him without giving away who he really is?
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. Thankfully, it only really applied for the first couple of episodes because you gain a big insight into who he is at the end of the second episode. But I found those 2 episodes really challenging because, I'm an actor, I want to be interesting. I want the character to be interesting and compelling, but it's a bit of a poison chalice because it's a phenomenally interesting character. But if I'm too interesting in the first 2 episodes, I've blown it, So it was tough, but we have great directors. Dennis is, kind of eternally, refreshingly kind of no nonsense about it in his, kind of very Bostonian kind of way of just being like, it'll be fine, get on with it, and meanwhile I'm freaking out. But I think it's been also something we've been able to modulate in the edit where anything that felt like it gave the game away early on, we've tucked out of there. But hopefully it all feels kind of, well judged.
I wanted to start by asking, you're running it back with Apple TV Plus and Taron, because you guys all work together on Blackbird. Talk to me about what that first experience was like and how it kind of influenced how you were going to bring this series to life.
I think with Taron, we just had a wonderful time working together. We locked in really well. I think we understood, we take the work extremely seriously, but we also, not in a pretentious way. We just want to do a great job in the best way we can. So I think both Taron and I also realized very early that on Blackbird that we don't do things unless they frighten us. He doesn't take roles unless it frightens him. I don't take projects unless something about it scares you, because there's got to be some part of you that says, what if I'm not up for this? And that drives him, it drives me. So that was an easy kind of transition then when I got this project to pitch him on it. And I brought Taron in on this. Taron came in on this before I wrote a line.
Wow, so, just based on the premise alone?
Based on the character.
Sure, because it was based off, inspired by true events and the podcast series.
It was inspired, but it was just this idea that there was something in Orr. I didn't want him to play John Orr. That's why his name's Dave Goodson. I wanted him to play something about that person being a complete lie to himself. Like that was the idea. Like here's Orr, who sets himself up as an arson investigator. So he's the hero chasing the arsonist, who's also him. So he's the bad guy. And he's in complete denial about it, writing a book in which he's the hero. It just seemed to me so wonderfully insane. And Taron, it caught Taron the same way.
Yeah, you started kind of going in the spoiler territory, so now we can go full-blown spoilers. The twist in this series feels very Teddy Daniels-esque. I love Shutter Island.
Oh, thanks.
The book, the movie, all of that. And you've always said that your twists, you don't want a twist for the sake of a twist. It needs to feel earned. So talk to me about setting up, the full reveal with Dave, some of those little nuances you wanted to pepper in those early episodes so that when we did get to that moment, even if we weren't picking up on them, it was clearly always planted the whole time.
We layered stuff in right from the very beginning. The very first thing you see is a man running through a fire to himself. That's right off the bat. I mean, I came across that story. That's an anecdote from the real Orr's life. And I came across that story and I said, oh my God, that's perfect. So we knew, look, audiences are extremely intelligent now. They've seen a lot of TV. We knew that holding off on that turn, that whatever you want to, that reveal, whatever you want to call it, for more than 2 episodes would be idiotic. I mean, the audience is, they're primed, they're looking, they're thinking, well, who could it be? So we just thought we'll play fair with it and then we'll reveal it as fast as we can. And then we get to the real story, which is what the hell's gonna happen? Like now that you know this guy is this, and Michelle's working with him and Michelle knows it, what's gonna happen? Because there's not a lot of evidence.
You seem a little off.